Big Dog, Boss Man, Boss Dog. You got your side deck for the event, right? You don't got your side deck for the event. And you don't know what to side? Y'all is just like my barber. Y'all ain't never prepared for nothing. Hey, don't worry about my hair. I'm growing it out for no mind your business March. That's what I'm doing. What's going on with ya, Big Dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day is going nothing less than amazing. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Today for Tier List Friday, my friend, we are going to be going over the best side deck Yu-Gi-Oh cards I know with YCS Peru and Remote Duel Extravaganza, as well as all of the local events that you are gonna crush this weekend and weekends to come. You're gonna need some advice on what are the best side deck cards. So in this particular tier list, not only do I have 5 different categories, which are pretty self-explanatory. Most effective, really good, fair, situational, sell them things for Yu-Gi-Oh lessons. I will also be going in detail telling you the strengths of these particular sideboard Yu-Gi-Oh cards and where they would be most effective against. And of course, Big Dog, this ain't a one-off thing. I have so much content. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and notification bell to be notified when I post. And trust me, my guy, you're gonna get a lot of information. You're gonna get a lot better watching this channel. I also want to say that your boy is streaming on Twitch today, so go ahead and check me out. But without further ado, let's jump on in. So the criteria for this sideboard tier list is a little bit more in-depth than some of my other criterias for tier list. I wanted you to know the effectiveness of these sideboard cards in the meta. Some of the most played decks in Yu-Gi-Oh right now are Trap Tricks, Kashtira, Branded, Labyrinth, Cyberse decks, Sword Soul, and Runic Engine. It's really important to know what cards are going to be really effective against them, and it has a bonus if these particular cards can have a dual purpose against multiple strategies. Also, having the correct cards in your sideboard, depending on what format we are, I would say that it's largely undefined, but through the decks that I just mentioned, you would say that this is more of a mid-range control type format with tons and tons of back row, so you're going to need the appropriate back row hate. Let's go ahead and start off with Alpha Master of Beasts. This card is one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and unfortunately, you might just want to sell them for some Yu-Gi-Oh lessons right now. Alpha Master of Beast works way better in a break my board type format where you can summon this huge body to your side of the field and just plow over your opponent's monsters and then use its effects to disrupt them further. Unfortunately, because of trap cards and other interactive cards, that's not necessarily the case for this card in this format. I absolutely love anti-spell fragrance against the branded strategy when going first. It's almost an FTK. All you have to do is flip this card face up. They're pretty much not going to be able to fusion summon, and then you can win from there. Against Runic, if they don't open Runic Destruction, you pretty much can clap them up. I would say against some of the other decks in the game, though, this card is not that good, so I would say that it's a fair Yu-Gi-Oh card. I would only consider playing this card in my sideboard if I have a really bad matchup against Branded and I needed a free win if I went first against the deck. A Pointer of the Red Lotus is a card that a lot of people are starting to pay attention to. At the cost of 2,000 life points, you get to look at a card in your opponent's hand and banish it. This card, oh my god, it is the most effective card right now. My guy, are you losing to evenly matched? Well, here's your answer. Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler no more. This is your answer. Also love that this card could also be set off a Triple Tactics Thrust, so do not underestimate that this card is at 1. Ultimately, it probably should be banned. Artifact Lancia will turn off the Tingy monster effects against Sword Soul. It'll shut down Runic and Kashtira. This is actually a really good sideboard card, almost one of the most effective, and it's not just because of what it does against those decks. Artifact Lancia is also one of the most effective ways to stop evenly matched, so if your deck genuinely is hurt by evenly matched, then consider siding this board. On the flip side, Kashtira players, I would consider not sideboarding evenly matched because they not only take care of your engine, but evenly matched too. Bubble Clips, you guys already know what this card is. It's really good against Trap Tricks, flipping those level 4 monsters face down before they can make an Exceed or Link. And of course, giving them that draw 1 or draw 2 does not matter because they're gonna draw trap cards, and against Kashtira, amazing at addressing the board that they have and preventing them from making it. You would think that the Bestial monsters would be cards that you would sell for Yu-Gi-Oh lessons, but no, they're pretty situational. They're really good at being able to stop Branded using Gimmick Puppet Nightmare to special summon on your turn, while also providing a free body and can search you a dragon or get rid of a special summon monster through Bestial Magnum Hut or Druid Swarm. Though personally, I would probably consider Ghost Bell because I think it hits more cards. If you're seeing a lot of Branded, this might be your thing. Chaos Hunter, my boys. This card is sell it for Yu-Gi-Oh lessons. Card's not good. It's just not good. You want to know why? Well, it's good against Runic, but it's a level 7 monster. Kashtira will snatch it. Contact C only has one genuinely good matchup, and it's Kashtira. Some players will say Branded, but once Branded players actually start playing the out, which is not hard for them to do, then it's a goofy goober. Personally, I would not want to side a card that my opponent could potentially naturally have the out for, and Kashtira is starting to play cards like Enemy Controller and Forbidden Chalice, so I'm gonna say it's situational. Cosmic Cyclone is like extremely good, guys. This could actually be a main board Yu-Gi-Oh card, maybe in the Staples tier list. Let me know if that's what you want to see. The reason why Cosmic Cyclone is so good is because it banishes, and while it may be hit by Artifact Lancia, I mean, if they're citing Lancias for Cosmic Cyclones, I guess you twinning. The Cosmic Cyclone can not only banish Labyrinth cards that they'll never get back, it banishes Trap Hole cards that they'll never be able to get back in rotation. It also banishes Kashtira spell and trap cards and field spell cards before they can resolve. Its quick play status, bar none. Dark Ruler No More is pretty bad against most of the decks that I mentioned, but it's really good against Rogue. Bro, this card is like amazing at just letting you crack a board and go. Having it in your sideboard for those Rogue opportunities, pretty good. Denko Sekka is ridiculously, it's really good right now. As you guys already know, both Labyrinth and Trap Tricks love to have back row. Just normal summon Denko Sekka is a great thing. A few things that you need to watch out for is that if your opponent already has a Floodgate face up, you might want to have to clear that Floodgate before summoning Denko Sekka, or if your opponent has Trap Tricks or Flacia, they'll just bottomless or Floodgate Trap Hole the Denko. So watch out for those two things. I don't think that D-Barrier is a bad Yu-Gi-Oh card, though I don't think it's a great Yu-Gi-Oh card. And it's really weird because we have an XE deck, a Synchro deck, a Fusion deck. We have all these decks that D-Barrier can take advantage of, but the problem with D-Barrier is that most of those decks can also perform another action. This would be godly against Trap Tricks if it was only an XE deck, but since it can link into Trap Tricks Sarah's and buy its time, and Sarah's the best card, then it doesn't really work as much. This would be good against Kashtira, but Kashtira monsters are fucking huge. My guy, chunky boys. They bigger than my best friend's baby mama, and he a hoodlum. He had a kid with a lady that has 6 other kids. Droll and Lockbird is like a boom or bust sideboard card. I thought it would be really good, but the problem with Droll is that a lot of times decks can still make their board under Droll. It's just not as powerful, but you really want Droll to just shut down their turn. Also, if you don't open Droll, it gets worse as the game goes on. Evenly Matched is the reason why a Pointer of the Red Lotus and Artifact Lancia are so high. So obviously one of the most effective cards in the game, period. Ghost Bell in Haunted Mansion, my boy. Yeah, unfortunately games aren't going into time as much, so we can't milk time, which is a good thing. Hey True Nade is a extremely good card. Actually, the reason why I like Hey True Nade so much is if you can't afford a card like Triple Tactics Thrust, what a lot of players would do is run 3 copies of Lightning Storm, 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, and 2 copies of Thrust. Obviously, if you can't afford the Thrust, just run 2 Hey True Nade, and you still have the maximum amount of spell and trap removal to be able to get over your opponent. This card also plays around Trap Tricks Arach no Kampa. See guys, I can say it right, ain't bad. Kaijus are incredibly fair this format. They're not necessarily bad. They're good at being able to tribute 1 monster, but sometimes that's not enough. My guy, I want to be able to knock out your whole board. I have to say that if you are playing Kaijus inside of your side deck, you're going to need to be able to play a deck that can extend like no other. Maybe it's just 1 card that you need to take out, and then you can keep playing Yu-Gi-Oh! If you do play that type of deck, Kaijus are for you. Nightmare Corruptor Iblis, 100% situational. Players have definitely moved past this card. Not only double Link Guribo in the extra deck, also cards like Enemy Controller and Forbidden Chalice are massively being played right now. So unless you don't see those cards being heavily prevalent in your meta, I wouldn't even bother with the Iblis. Divine Carnate Cuticera is look, Divine Carnate is like kaijus, but the difference is normally when you kaiju your opponent, you get rid of their biggest threat and you're playing a deck that can keep playing. If you can force your opponent to use all of their effects and Divine Carnate them, you can simply just win. There are so many decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you're just like, tribute your whole board, summon a huge monster, and get their monster back. It is crazy, but it has to be in the right deck. Lava Golem is still one of the most effective sideboard cards. It's like kaijus, except you get rid of 2, and normally your opponent's battle boss monster has a little side buddy by him like Batman and Robin, and you gotta clap them both. Look, man, I'm like the Joker, except I'll actually come for Batman and Robin and put them in the dirt, man. I ain't trying to keep you around. I don't like Lightning Storm because obviously you can't have any face-up cards, and there's a lot of decks that play field spells, so keep that in mind if you're playing a deck that has field spells. It's a little bit harder to maneuver with Lightning Storm, but I will acknowledge that it is a really good card when you combine it with Harpy's Feather Duster and Triple Tactics Thrust, and you have 7 Lightning Storms or 6 Lightning Storms, and you can get to the card as fast as possible and as many times as possible to destroy your opponent's background. A lot of times they'll use a card like Solemn Judgment to stop the first one, then they'll trigger the effect of monster like Sarah, or maybe even use a trap and follow up with the effect of their Lady Labyrinth. Well, then you go thrust and you search another one and you blow out their background. So it is needed that you're playing multiple forms of removal if you are having a hard time against those back row heavy decks. Nibiru easily, bro, every single one of these decks except for like Runic can get the rock. A Runic and Labyrinth. Like Trap Tricks can get a rock. Kashtira will get a big rock. Branded surprisingly can get a rock. Cybers, both in every single one of those decks will get a rock. Sword Soul, do you smell? My guy, there's so many rocks over here. You think I'm a drug dealer. Nibiru's good right now. Cyframe Gear Gamma is an excellent check when you're knowing you're going second. Being able to stop your opponent's most critical monster effect is amazing. Also, if you're playing a deck that is weak to Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, baby, and you can have no monsters on the field, well, Gamma that hoe, and you probably can get a win. Solemn Judgment is one of the most effective cards in the game right now. And again, it's because cards like Evenly Match, that Appointer of the Red Lotus, Artifact Lancey, and Solemn Judgment have so much good correlation. But Solemn Judgment also stops Lightning Storm, Hatrunade, Deko Sekka, Book of Eclipse, and it pretty much stops the entire game right now. Swords of Concealing Light. I mean, what are you doing here, guys? Just sell them for Yu-Gi-Oh lessons. I don't know who told you to stop Kashtira. I feel bad if I ever did, but it does not stop Kashtira. It doesn't do anything, except for look nice. They're nice looking cards. Triple Tactics Thrust, guys. Triple Tactics Thrust is easily one of the most effective sideboard cards in the game. Ironically, it's better off as a sideboard card than a main board card. Because of cards like Solemn Judgment, you can be able to fetch another copy of the card that you're missing. Because of Appointer of a Red Lotus picking out your Harpy's Feather Duster, you can then use this card to be able to search another form like Lightning Storm or whatsoever. This card's really, really good right now. I mean, honestly, it's one of the perfect going second cards in the game. Twin Twisters, my guys, sell these for Yu-Gi-Oh lessons. Not a good card right now. You don't want to lose card advantage. You want to destroy way more than 2 cards, guys. Come on, what are we doing here? And having this card negated? Damn. Ultimate Slayer, also sell this for Yu-Gi-Oh lessons. There are a ton of good decks that summon boss monsters that Ultimate Slayer can out, but it's almost just not worth siding Ultimate Slayer unless you have a deck that is dedicated to Ultimate Slayer, maybe Dogmatic Punishment, and Labyrinth ain't even playing it. Great beast of the sky, please hear my cry. Yeah, this is probably one of the best cards if your opponent's really, really greedy. Look, man, I want you to see a trend. Trap Tricks, 2 monsters. Cybers decks, typically 2 monsters. Sword Soul, 2 monsters. Branded, 2 monsters. Unless they're getting greedy, this card won't be feeding. But if a player does get greedy, oh my God, you almost wish that your Lava Golem was ball boy, but hey, sometimes it be like that. I'm gonna talk about Exceed Encore in just a second. I wanna talk about the state of Floodgate Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Skill Drain. Floodgate Yu-Gi-Oh cards, what I mean by that is Rivalry of the Warlords, There Can Be Only One, and Gozen Map. Separately, these cards have middling results. I would probably sell them for Yu-Gi-Oh lessons. One thing I want to say is just about every Floodgate sucks against Trap Tricks, because as long as they can summon Trap Tricks Miramello and trigger its effect, they can break the Floodgate, so remember that. Against Cash Terror, Labyrinth, Cyburst, and Sword Soul, Rivalry's not gonna work. Now, Gozen can do pretty good against some of these strategies, but not the other. Overall, man, it's just not really worth the headache to side these cards. But if you can side a combination of both of them, you're a jerk, but it's effective. Skill Drain is also, Skill Drain is, okay, so I think Skill Drain is really good, right? But I'm gonna put it in fair. The reason why I think Skill Drain is really good is because it's an FTK against Trap Tricks. It's also good against Sword Soul and Cyburst if you open it and go first. But the problem with Skill Drain in itself is that normally if you're playing Skill Drain inside of a deck, you're playing a back row heavy deck and they're already siding in these disruptive cards. So, but if you are playing a deck like Branded or something and maybe having a Trap Tricks Horror, oh yeah, just Skill Drain them, dog. They're gonna lose. And then lastly, Exceed Encore. This card is actually extremely good, my guys. My friend! This card allows you to detach the material of an Exceed monster, return it to the extra deck, and then summon the monsters that were used as material to the side of the field. But the drawback, their level is reduced. This is actually really good against both Trap Tricks and Cash Terror. And I wouldn't have given this card this much props until you read the last line of text. It can't even be responded to. This card is insane. And that is all that I have for the side deck tier list. Hopefully this helped you out for YCS Peru, your remote duel, or whatever event that's coming up. Of course, if you want to see more amazing TheCaliEffect content, go ahead and check out these videos as I'll catch you on the next one.